how are we looking with the tariffs?
So the tariffs, we're doing okay. Where right now, all of our modular machines are, going through. So
Yeah,
that's good. Um, but yeah, I mean, things are going good for us so
not
far.
really affecting us much.
No, not much.
We're going smooth.
We're going smooth, and we'll get into that more, when a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
later on into the podcast.
Okay.
All right, well, let's start the podcast.
Oh.
Let's roll that intro music.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys, we're back with another episode. I think this is podcast number 6 out of
Number
many,
6.
many more. Right here to the right of me, we have our lead installer, Devin. I'd like you guys all to say hello to him in the internet space.
Hello, internet space.
I'm super excited for him to join our podcast. You have a lot of knowledge in this field, and I think it's going to really make it a lot better for us, in the podcast realm.
That's what we're hoping.
So today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to go through the Eco model. We're going to talk about just the updates, the new look, and then after we talk about the Eco, we'll talk about the Pro 2.0, and then from there we'll get into a little bit about the tariffs. And
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody out there is wondering about this because I know it's a very touchy subject and it's affecting all of us right now. So, so let's get into it. So, Devin, you've done a lot of Eco installs.
Yeah.
And what do you think's the thing you take the most from these installs about the simplicity of this machine?
That's a big thing. They are very simple. They are very quick installs. They're very good for what they are. They're a simple machine, but it gets the job done really well.
Right. And that's really where we pride ourselves on that machine, right? We really designed that machine for kind of like the entry level customer.
Yeah.
Entry level customer that wants to get into lasers, but don't want to spend, $70,000 for one.
Yeah.
It's a very budget friendly machine that does really well with cutting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of customers, we've shipped out many of units since we've released it, as you know, and it's been a success.
Yeah, and it's simple to use too. Anybody with some CNC experience can use one.
Yeah, and that's one of our selling points with that machine as well, and really all of our laser machines, right? Is that they're so much easier than a plasma table or a water jet. These machines have become so simple to use and so easy to use that almost anybody that, like you said, that has any kind of experience can really do a good job at running it.
Yeah, and even without experience, you can still just learn the basics and then work out from there.
Correct. We have people that have bought in the machines that did the self install, and that self install, the customer has done it and did it correctly, and they had no experience at all. So never think that just because it looks like it might be too difficult to do, that's the case, because a lot of the times, especially in this industry, it's just not like that.
Yeah, they're much simpler than they look. They seem very intimidating, but they're not that bad. They're super simple.
Super simple, and that's another thing is they're simple to use, and then with the cost, $19,200. How can you beat that? For a laser machine,
that's not much.
Plasmas, they got plasmas. Shop Saber, for example, $19,000 almost for a complete machine.
Yeah.
And you're still getting plasma quality cuts. So this is definitely in the price range of a high-end plasma, but you're going to be getting that laser finish, which a lot of people want these days.
Yep, which is way cleaner than a plasma.
Right. It's a laser. It's a laser, so it's precise.
It's a perfect cut.
It's a perfect cut every time. Now, what I'll say about that as well, I want to get into just talking about the new model of the Eco version. Not necessarily the new model, but the new colors that we added. We now have it as our colors, our OEM colors, as they would say.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. That's a really nice touch to the machine.
Much more aesthetically pleasing.
Right. And that's what's really cool is, if you guys haven't noticed on our Instagram, we've done a lot of changes, but really good changes. And another thing about it is that everything that we're selling is our products, right? Everything is labeled with our name on it. It's branded with us.
Yeah.
We are not selling third-party products. These are our own products, and there's not many manufacturers that can say that out there anymore.
Yeah.
There's not many manufacturers at all really pushing a lot of lasers. I don't know if you heard about this, but I know Everlast was going to come out with a laser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what exactly happened, but they took it off the website. They don't have it
anymore.
It's gone. And so that just really shows that there's a lot of companies out there that are trying to get into this space, but they just don't have the resources. And luckily we do.
Yeah.
We have the resources. We are very familiar with the machines, and I think that's a really good reason and a really big selling point to why customers want our machines and trust our machines.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think we should start talking about the Pro 2.0, because that's really what people are getting really excited about.
That's our next step,
right?
For sure.
So the Pro 2.0, it's already been released, as you know, and it's a great machine. So it's a modular machine, and I've spoken about this before in a podcast, but I figure now that you're joining us, and we're kind of doing things different, as you guys may see, the podcast studio is a little bit different now, but I feel like we should kind of reintroduce things, the way that we want to do it,
Yeah.
So the Pro 2.0 modular machine, but it's going to give you the speeds and performance of a Pro machine that would cost $100,000, $150,000, depending on who you go with, right? Mm-hmm. But they're all the same machine. And what we did is we designed a machine that was modular, and not only modular, but still rigid enough to be able to perform at the speeds that people are looking for. We're at 1G speeds. It could go up to 2G speeds in the 6,000 watts and above. But the Pro 2.0, as of right now, we're just doing, as you know, the 6,000. That's the limit. But even at 6,000 watts, it's a $49,500 machine with everything.
Yeah.
No one has anything like that.
Yeah. And it's like, it's basically a big machine. It's got the bones of a big machine, but it's still in a compact, kind of more modular form. So that's how we're keeping the price low. But we're making sure it has all the good parts that the big machines have, but then also is a small, more rigid and
rigidity, and like he was saying, it does come with all the things that a big machine has, which is the Yaskawa servos. So we're doing Japanese servos, French guide rails, the Ray Tools head, Max laser source. It's giving you everything that any other competitor will give you for about 2 to 3 times the price. Yeah. And we're giving it to you for a lot less, but you're not losing quality in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And that's really our guarantee, right? Is that these Pro 2.0s are not a Pro 2.0 for no reason. They are a Pro 2.0 because they are the next level. They're the next generation of these machines.
Yeah.
Because I think that we've kind of come to the conclusion that these huge machines that have, that come in containers and weigh,
So
7,000
much, yeah.
pounds. It's just not.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. We have now gotten to the point where we have been able to build a machine that is the same structurally sound machine, but it comes in pieces, and it saves so much money for the customer.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where we shine. We are a smaller business. We're not a huge business like some other companies.
No.
But we have a lot of personality for being such a small business.
Yeah.
We really shine with our customer service and treating the customer the way they really should be treated. But yeah, I mean, the Pro 2.0, other than all of that, I think talking about the Pro 2.0, I think we should start talking about the tariffs and kind of just kind of get into that, because I know people want to know about this, and it's a thing that a lot of people have on their minds. They're worried about it, and we understand why. And so this is what we could talk about with the tariffs. As of now, we are not having any problems importing any of our fiber laser tables. And that goes for our Pro 2.0 and our Eco model.
Yep.
And that is because they are modular units. And so, long story short, they kind of fall under a different import code. So because of that, we are able to get them in still. We're one of the only companies, I believe,
and still maintain our prices.
Yes, and still maintain our prices. Our prices are not going to shoot up. I don't see them to shoot up at all, because nothing's really changed for us.
Yeah.
And that's I guess you could say a saving grace for us, because our design wasn't intended for what happens with the tariffs, but it does work out well for us, because there's not very many other there's not companies at all that have a modular unit.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's definitely not a Pro unit or anything close to it.
Just another bonus of our small, compact, modular system.
Yeah. And
those other systems are just so unnecessary.
They're unnecessary, and they're so expensive.
Yeah. It's not like it's a CNC router or anything where it needs the structural strength, but it's because it's just cutting and it's not touching anything. It just needs rails is all.
Rails, and as long as those rails are mounted, or they are heavy enough, it doesn't need anything else.
And we got our machines got the strength exactly where they need it.
Right, exactly. And then another thing that we forgot to talk about with the Pro 2.0 is the trays. We added the catch trays to the bottom of the 2.0. So, like I said, the Pro 2.0 is by far the most, the best machine you can get for the money, in the sense of quality, in the sense of the way it works. Just overall, it's just the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's really everything you need. You don't need anything more than that, especially if you're in like a industry situation. It's going to do everything you need. So,
right, yeah. It's for full production.
Yeah,
it's
full
not,
production.
It's not a light-duty machine in any way, shape, or form.
And to be honest, the Eco machine could do that too, but it's still a little slower. So
right. And if we talk about speeds, customers might want to know our speeds. So I'll explain the difference. So our Eco model, you're going to be looking at speeds around 20 meters per minute. That's going to be your max speeds. With our Pro 2.0, it's going to be, and this is on lighter gauge material. As you go up in gauge, it does slow down. But in our lighter gauge material, you're in the high 30s to 40 meters per minute. So it's a substantial difference, but that's only in light gauge material. As you know, when you go up into thicker gauge material, its amount of power of the
Yeah,
laser,
it's gonna need to slow down.
it has to
cut
slow
through
down no matter what.
Yeah.
So you won't, if you're cutting a lot of thick stuff, the Eco Table works well because you're not losing much speed, because it's, like I said, it's about the power source of the laser. If you have a 2,000 watt laser, it's going to go a certain speed to cut ½ inch, whereas a 6,000 watt laser is going to do, you know, three times that speed because of the power. So yeah, I mean that's another perk to the Pro 2.0.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just overall, I think we're in a good position. I'm very thankful that the tariffs are not affecting us much.
Not much at all.
Not much at all, if anything. And you guys will still be able to get your machines. Production is, you know, as the president said, you know, he wants production to be in the United States. So
yeah,
we expect that these machines will start producing production jobs, you know.
Yeah.
And that's always great for the country.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
I mean, Pro 2.0 can definitely bring in some more jobs that would involve production and
it's budget friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to have, you know, our 6,000 watt is $49,000.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You could cut 1.25 inches for $49,000.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
And have the cleanest cuts, way cleaner than plasma. It just look good.
Perfect.
Straight from the cut to the customer.
Right, to the finish.
Yeah.
It's finished product. But yeah, I mean, I think this podcast went well.
Yeah.
You know, I think we did a good job. I think we got our points across.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what I'll say, another thing is, we love when you guys interact with us, either through our Instagram, our YouTube account, anywhere you can find us, and we're all over the internet. Interact with us. Tell us what you want to hear next, what you want us to talk about next. We're open to ideas, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, we love the feedback from you guys. The feedback is what keeps us going.
Yeah, and maybe ideas we can implement into future machines too.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
So,
but yeah, I think we're pretty much gonna wrap this up. Like I said in the beginning, I'm really excited to have you on, and
me too. I'm excited to be here.
It's gonna go really well, and yeah, and we will see you guys next time. All right.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye bye.